524 Charlie Charlie is currently in its annual. So I popped over to take a peek. Everything's looking great. Well, from my untrained eye, but the maintenance guys said everything's looking great so far. It's really cool to see it all torn apart and just kind of get a peek at everything. You can see the wheel pants are off. Tires are looking good, although I already had to replace one, as you know from another video. There's the AC compressor. Really cool to get a view of it, but everything looks still super clean and new, as it should, with only a couple hundred hours on it. Here's where the oxygen is stowed. That all looks nice and tidy. And on the right hand side, that's the ELT, the bright yellow, and the ballistic parachute sits in that white plastic case. There's inside, everything's torn apart. I'd love to see their checklist on what they have to go through, but as you can see, it's pretty exhaustive in an annual for sure. There's the cowl covers or cowling, and my seats, all the different things. They've got it all kind of tucked away in a little storage area here. I was joking because I'm like, oh, they keep my stuff on carpet. It's so nice. So what do you do when your plane's an annual? Well, you go fly the Vision Jet. I mean, what else would you do? So I gave Apogee a call, which is the place that manages my plane. I said, hey, do you have a jet and a pilot available that can take me up for a demo flight? And that's one of the great things about Apogee is they have all that. They manage, again, everything from SR-22s all the way up to Gulfstream. So there's a lot of different, they have a lot of different access to different things. So if you want to throw some money at it, they can help you out for sure. So they got me in a G2 Plus, the latest version of the SF-50 Vision Jet, and paired me up with one of their pilots. His name's Matt. He's a CSIP, so that was great. He used to work down in Texas at Cirrus, and just kind of did some basic stuff. I had no real agenda for this flight. It was more or less, let's see what the transition would be like going from an SR-22. I've got 550 total hours, and about 400 of those hours are in an SR. In the past 6 months, in my G7, I've had the same avionics. And so I just wanted to see what, the similarities were and differences, and see kind of what that transition would be like. How does the plane fly? Go up, and we just did some steep turns, a stall, shot an approach. Kept it pretty basic. And yeah, it was really awesome. Matt was super great. Again, being that he was an instructor, that was super helpful. And, I didn't do perfect at it, but I think for my first time in it, first time flying at everything else, I think I did fairly well. So why don't we jump on in and get in the sky.
Okay, everything's started up. So you're just like in your G7, here's your checklist. Okay. So you can just start checking through there.
Doors good.
Yeah.
Parking AR.
Parking brake as required.
Okay. That 1 and 2 is on.
Yep. And let's do Gen 1, Gen 2.
Okay.
Don't have the external APU, so don't need to worry about that.
Verify FADEC channel.
FADEC channel, we're at 0% thrust. Okay, strobe lights.
Cast measure the fuel. That's pretty normal.
Yep. We'll do that
doing
when we do the
Yep.
initialization.
First level idle. Brakes idle. Or brakes are hold. Okay. Engine knob and run.
Okay, so what we're going to do is that we're going to turn this engine knob to run and then press engine start stop. What we're looking for here when we start this is we want to make sure that we're going to watch these numbers here.
Okay.
ITT doesn't go over the red line. No N1 indication by 25%. So if this doesn't move by this is 25%, then we're going to stop the startup.
Turn it off again.
And then light off in 8 seconds. You'll see a light off up here. And then low pressure. So
okay.
Go ahead and go to run. There's our fuel pump. And let's press start.
Do I hold it?
Nope. So N2's coming up. There's N1. Looks good there. ITT's slowing down. So ITT's are coming back down. And second engagement there. Pressure's good. And good start.
Okay. Check 1, 2. Yep, I got you. Hear me? My goodness. And how? I don't know who sat here last, but let's
You're like, I really hear
I
it.
hear everything.
Not in a good way.
Yeah, that's right. I would like to hear less. Okay, so we'll do our pre-flight test.
Okay.
So we're going to get a engine fire here.
Fire.
We got sync fire here with these two
Fire.
discharge.
Okay.
Fire.
So it's just
Stall.
doing its thing.
Stall.
It's just running through the systems.
Stall.
Okay.
Okay, so those are done.
Okay.
We'll go to next. All right.
And sync
Yep.
it.
Yep. All right, there we go.
And you said the max fuel on this is what?
296.
Okay.
Um,
Aircraft loading.
Yep.
Oh, I wish I was 190. I'm working on it. I'm working on that useful load.
yeah,
Co-pilot.
190.
All right. You want to do the? They're doing T7 left right now. Do you want to do? You said a VOR out there.
Yeah, you can put destination as PTK.
Okay.
You can put that in there.
All right, and then we'll just do it as a route.
And then add, and then just put MOP.
Perfect.
Cool. And we'll do next.
And so does yours? Yeah. So it's just like the G7.
Just like the G7.
Okay.
Yep. That's part of that.
I love that. Oh,
To help with the
so-
transition into this. That's one of the things they were looking to do.
Cool. Accept that. All right. So we got that. Okay. Comms navs are set. ATIS clearance. Well, we're gonna get the clearance. You want to grab
Yeah,
that?
I can grab it real quick.
Okay.
Putting a ground, Vision Jet 248 Tango Victor, looking for our IFR clearance. They're like, no. They're looking.
Red 248 Tango Victor, Pontiac ground, cleared back to the Pontiac Airport via radar vectors as filed. Climb and maintain 3000, expect 15,000, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 132.35, squawk 5722.
Okay, cleared to the Pontiac Airport via radar vectors as filed. 3000, 150, 10 minutes after, 132.35, 5722. 248 Tango Victor.
Vision Jet 8 Tango Victor, readback is correct, and I do see your altitude's at 15,000 here. Do you want to go lower down to 10,000? Technically, I need to put you on a route, but we will double check with Detroit just to be sure.
We could probably go, 10,000 will probably be fine. We're just going up to do some air maneuvers and then come back. Okay.
Roger that. Vision Jet 8 Tango Victor, then you can expect, or climb maintain 3000, you can expect 10,000, 10,000, 10 minutes after departure. Rest of clearance remains unchanged.
Okay, 3000 on takeoff and 10,000, 10 minutes after 8 Tango Victor.
Vision Jet 8 Tango Victor, thank you, read that correct.
All right.
All right. ATIS clearance. We got that. Altimeter checked. Transponder. I set that. Initial heading. Let's bug that for 274.
Pontiac ground, I'm in
Flight
478
controls.
Charlie,
Same
run up
kind of
to
thing.
fleet.
Yeah, this one, and yeah, as you
looks like
sweep
FPC
the
on left
yoke
pattern
through, also
Yeah.
kind of move the
Diamond
rudder
87
pedals at the
Charlie,
same
runway
time,
27 left,
because there's
taxi
the way that the
via
rudder
Bravo,
vader
Bravo 1.
basically incorporates the rudder and the ailerons all together, as well as the elevator, just making sure it doesn't stick anywhere.
Yeah,
Charlie.
felt good. You can definitely tell, like, it's even on the ground, like there's heaviness
There's
to
some weight
it.
to it, yeah.
All right, trim set for takeoff, same kind of a deal
Yep,
here.
and you do have this wheel here, which I like. I've learned to fly
Cessna.
a while ago in Cessnas, but
Yeah.
this wheel, and this is our pitch trim that it shows you right here. So you got a white box saying that you're out of trim, so we can just move that forward into right there, or
And that's your left and right there.
correct.
Okay.
And there's going to be a little delay, so if you click it to the right, you can just wait a second and see what that does. So there you go. See how,
I see.
see how, yeah, see how it moves out?
Just gotta
fairly
kind of
quickly?
flick it and let it do its thing.
Yeah, right there. There you go.
Close enough. Yeah. Cool. All right, flap set 50%.
Yep, and then just like on your G7, you're going to see the
Indicated.
cyan box as it moves, and then it's going to turn green when it's set.
Okay. And then electric roll trim.
Yep, that's
What
what
is
you just did.
Okay.
That's the side to side.
Oh,
yeah.
side to side. All right. Pitch
Okay.
attitude 10 degrees.
So toga button. Go ahead
Uh-huh.
and hit your toga button there.
Okay.
So your toga button's actually going to be right here.
Oh, that's okay.
That button you were pushing is the auto throttle disable.
Gotcha.
So there we got toga, and then we're going to arm auto throttle. So go ahead and press that there. You'll see that show up on your scoreboard
Okay,
takeoff.
so
And we're going to do a heading,
okay.
and then flight level change,
Yep.
and then you can turn the VNAV off.
Okay.
So you don't need to do anything, right? Because, yep, that's okay.
So flight level change, do you set the speed?
So it's set for
Oh,
165.
that's the
Remember we were talking about the
yeah,
FMS?
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
so that's a predetermined user input. So if we go to VNav here and look at climb,
aircraft and Mr. Papa current wind column
160.
altimeter 3022.
165, or if you're above around 18,000, it's 0.70 Mach.
Okay.
Right, so that's why it's showing up already as 165 in there.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, cast message pro Pete, but we know we don't do that on the ground. I assume the same type of thing. You don't usually enable
Yep.
until you roll.
As soon as we roll, it's landing lights on, probe on.
Gotcha. Seats are good. Parking brake, we don't have that on. And brakes are holding because I'm stepping on them still.
Yep.
Departure briefing. So what's your departure briefing?
So just to kind of talk through it, it's the same. We're looking at the same type of thing
Okay.
that you would be doing IFR in your 22.
Sure.
Difference being, it's still 600 to 2,000 as
Okay.
part of our CAS briefing, right? When we take the runway, we're going to go takeoff thrust. We're looking for 85 knots as our rotation here.
Okay.
We're going to rotate, and just like when you're in your IFR training, you're going to pitch for bars, right? And then, let's reset it there. There we go.
Okay.
It kind of got
because I
knocked
hit
off there.
Yeah.
We're going to pitch for our bars, positive rate of climb, gear up.
Okay.
And then we're looking for 115, flaps up.
Flaps up. Okay.
And we got over 6,000 feet
Yeah.
of runway today. We won't need more than
17.
2,600 to clear 50-foot obstacle.
Okay.
Anything happens on takeoff roll, the difference here is anything happens on takeoff roll, brakes first, and then power to idle.
Okay.
And then anything after rotation below 600, we're going to drop the gear, try to land back on the remaining runway. 600 to 2,000 is our caps altitude, immediate caps pull. Anything above 2,000, we're going to maintain aircraft control, try to return to the runway, run flow checks as able, and keep caps available.
Cool. And then we'll do that on roll. Probe heat on roll. IPS, we don't need that. Or that's for icing?
Engine up, so that's the D ring. That's that it looks like it's right on the very tip of the engine
metal,
where it looks metal.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's heat for anytime you're flying into visible moisture. And
Okay.
whatnot, but we're
Which
not
we
going
don't
to do
need that. Okay. Wing stab, we don't need that.
Nope.
Or cash bench, again, the probe heat, trim set, flaps are set. Verify takeoff emergency battery cast benches not displayed.
Nope, we don't have one on there.
Okay. And multifunction. Is
Yep.
that just?
And this is where, so the multifunction here, we had this up, right? We used it for our, when we were doing our initialization. So let's just go full screen
Okay.
on there. Yep.
Make it useful. Oh, you're a track up guy. No, I'm a Northup flyer. That's fine.
Oh no.
It's
Me
major
too.
controversy.
Oh,
It's major
no.
controversy.
You flown helicopters or?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I know. I'm the odd man out. Trust me.
Okay,
The
it's
YouTubers say, "Oh my God, I don't know how you do that." Just how my brain works.
It's
Sorry.
okay. I anytime I've trained with people like that, who have that's what their preference is. I always have my iPad, so I have better,
you switch it.
yeah.
I can do both.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. It's just
Good.
I just like to know who you are. I see you're
Fair enough.
you're a track up guy. It's
Yeah.
fine.
All right, so we'll just kind of walk through that real quick.
Okay. Brakes are holding. Thrust level takeoff. N1 aligned with bug.
Okay, so this is our N1
Yep.
right here, and it's going to be aligned. That little cyan
sign?
T right there is indicating takeoff thrust.
Okay. And then obviously just same engine instruments all should be in the green normal. Brakes release. Rotate is 85 knots, pitch attitude 10 degrees, or you're saying for the bars?
Yep, so that it should be at 10 degrees right
Okay.
there.
And landing gear up at positive rate,
Yep.
flaps up at 115, clear of obstacles, airspeed per climb tables.
Yep, so go ahead and click, we'll click all the way through until number 8. We'll leave number 8 unclicked.
Okay.
All right, so now we are ready to taxi.
Taxi. All right.
Pontiac Ground Vision 248 Tango Victor at apogee, ready to taxi with Oscar.
248 Tango Victor, Pontiac ground, wind column, altimeter 3022, runway 27 left, taxi via Charlie.
27 left via Charlie, 8 Tango Victor. Okay, so move it forward a little bit, breakaway thrust percent, we could give it about 20% or so. That'll get us rolling.
And then you just bring it back
Yep.
a little bit.
Yep, you can just kind of get a feel for it. Same kind of feel when you're taxiing this aircraft that you get in the 20 and the 22s. Kind of that free castering nose wheel feel. And the same thing in those planes. We just want to try not to ride the brakes.
Sure. A little bit bigger wing here, gotta be. I will say that throttle feels a lot better.
Yeah.
It's a lot cooler. Like that spool up is a lot better than the.
And maybe you noticed it, but something that you'll notice in here with the jet engine versus the pistons, the propellers, you put the throttle up and there's a little bit of a delay,
yeah.
right? So that's one of those things that we're used to putting the throttle full in, and then the big fan in front gets going and just pushes us right away. It's going to take a few seconds for that engine to spool up. Yeah, and you can give it a little bit. So just like if you remember riding in a commercial airliner, you hear the engine spool up and then they go back to idle and they're gliding, right? So once you get a good roll, you can just bring the thrust level all the way back to 0 or to idle.
Give it a little bit of some air moving on that rudder.
And you will have to use the brakes, just a little bit tapping, right?
Trying to be prudent, I usually text about 30 times faster. But I'm not. I don't want to do that in a plane.
Hey, at least you put that on. You recorded that. So
yeah.
Now you can't deny it.
No, I don't.
Your goal is Southwest Airlines. Is what you're telling me.
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
Delta 1, runway 27 right, taxi Delta.
Turn right, Delta 1, taxi via Delta for 27 right, 37 Foxtrot.
Tower, Vision Jet 248 Tango Victor, holding short 27 left, Charlie 1, ready to go.
Vision 248 Tango Victor, Pontiac Tower, traffic on finals to the parallel runway, fly runway heading. Runway 27 left, cleared for takeoff.
Runway heading, clear for takeoff 27 left, 248 Tango Victor.
All right, ProB on, landing light on, no boost pump.
No boost pump, flaps 50, and no CAS messages.
Nobody's on final, he's on the parallel.
Wind calm.
So do you do this on the roll, or do you tend to like?
Well, we'll do it. We'll come to a stop.
Okay.
Kind of like if you were prepping yourself for a short field takeoff,
Sure.
just so you can get the feel for it. We'll get aligned on center line here and get the nose straight. All right. Now you're just going to stand on those brakes.
Yep.
Really hold them down and just move that thrust level all the way.
Take off past the
all
D10.
That's right. All right. Release the brakes. Nope. You don't have those left turning clearances. Okay, one looking for 85, everything's looking great. And rotate, start pulling. Pull. There we go. Check. All right, there you go. Positive rate and gear up.
Oh, over here.
All right, you're gonna have to use a little trim because it's gonna get heavier as we speed up there. So trim forward. There you go. And now you're gonna see those bars
Vision
start
8
moving
Tango
down.
Victor. Contact Detroit departure. Have a safe flight.
Okay, over to departure. We'll see you in a bit. 8 Tango Victor. All right, then above 15, 115 flaps up. All right, and then we're within our caps altitude there. There's 165 our climb, so just go ahead and hit your autopilot.
Let it do its thing.
Yep. And then just again, anytime we hit autopilot, check
Make sure it's
scoreboard,
doing
make
it.
sure it's doing what we want. Departure Vision Jet 248 Tango Victor off Pontiac, 2,600, climbing 3,000.
Vision Jet 248 Tango Victor, Detroit departure, radar contact, clear direct Mount Pleasant Airport, climb and maintain 5,000.
Direct Mount Pleasant up to 5,000, 8 Tango Victor.
I've done this before, I swear.
There you go. Yep, hit nav.
All
Then
right, 5,000.
up to 5,000. You can see how the auto throttle pulled us back to 180. And then hit flight level change.
Oh, it
You'll
does
see
it
it go back to
automatically.
165,
Yeah,
right?
okay. Wow, super cool.
And it just feels,
It's quiet.
it's quiet. I mean, even if you kind of pull your headset off a little bit, it's pretty quiet.
yeah,
in the,
yeah,
in the
super
cabin as
quiet.
well. But now that we're getting further away from the airport and it's going to switch into cruise, let's just clean up our checklist there.
Sure. All right, so landing gear's up, flaps are up, airspeed we're doing that. And then cruise climb, thrust levels MCT, and it's on auto throttles, but it's there.
Yep.
Engine monitors or engine all looks good and then green. Ice protection as required. And then we're not going up past, that's 18,000. You don't set that until...
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Transition altitude of 18,000.
Okay. And then once you get to cruise with auto throttles on, it's just doing it for you still? Or
Right, so it's going, so now if you look at the top of your
Yep.
airspeed tape,
Mainly Missoula Delta,
the
maintain 8,000.
airspeed tape says 245, right?
Yep.
So it's going to bring the nose down, and it's going to speed us up
248
to...
Tango Victor, contact Great Lakes approach on 118.8.
118.8, 8 Tango Victor. So now you can see that it's speeding us up, but it's going to keep it at MCT, right? So it's not going to add a bunch of power, but now that
Sure.
we're in level flight, we're just going to speed up, and once it gets to that
It'll
245,
do its thing.
it'll bring it back to whatever thrust percentage it needs to maintain 245.
So there's no leaning, there's no...
Nope, none of that.
That's sweet.
Great Lakes approach, Vision Jet 248 Tango Vector 10,000.
Vision Jet 248 Tango Victor, Great Lakes approach, wind altimeter 3023.
3023, 8 Tango Victor. Okay, so now your cruise, it says thrust level,
As required.
as required, right?
And same thing with ice.
Yep. And we're not going to be, our VSM is 290 and above, so we
Sure.
won't be dealing with that.
Okay.
And then now you're
I'll
on
get
to
that queued up.
next thing's your descent. So you can see that like right now, based off of where we're at, 10,000 feet, it's only required, it's saying I only need 54, 53% thrust, 52, it's going to bring it back a little bit to maintain 245.
And we got a headwind here too, so...
Yep. The top of the green right there, so now you see the T, right?
Yeah.
The top of the green, that's your MCT.
Okay.
So that's your maximum continuous thrust. The T is still your takeoff. As you climb in altitude, the MCT and the takeoff thrust power are going to actually get right on top of each other.
Gotcha.
Because as you go higher up with the thinner air,
Sure.
higher aerodynamics, there's going to reach a certain point to where you can only create so much power up there.
But right now we still have a little bit more than above the MCT.
Yeah. And you can see that, so
That was
gallons per hour is...
Yeah, we're still sucking it.
Yeah, so really, until you start getting higher up in altitude, you're going to be burning quite a bit of fuel.
Yeah. Even at 54% power.
Yep.
Airport. Turn left heading 160 vector for the RNAV runway.
Yeah, it's crazy how pretty much identical this is. I mean, aside from obviously the some of the extra checklist items or whatever, but it is spot on. I mean, the same thing.
Yeah, and it's not, you have the now your single control for if you want to
Sure.
change anything without having to try
Get that,
to
yeah.
find it with your only the 2 GTCs.
Yep.
Great Lakes approach, Skyhawk 788.
All right, so now
I just felt it do its throttle thing because it was like falling behind a little bit. I was like, oh wow, it's doing.
does it move up a little bit?
Yeah, it was kind of playing around back and forth. Yeah.
And sometimes for just making sure that I know what the plane's doing, especially in cruise descent, or I'm climb descent, I'll have my hand just along the throttle, even if the auto throttle's off.
See if it's
But I
moving.
can feel, like when my hand's like this, I can feel if it's what it's doing with the trim. Right? So let's press manual button right there.
Okay.
All right, and then just like you do if you're doing a flight level change in a 22 or whatnot,
Yep.
start bringing that wheel back.
Okay.
This wheel right here.
Until
you see 140.
Okay. Is that wheel different than this wheel?
Yes, this is still your up and down.
Okay.
So as far as you're doing vertical speed.
We're just bugging the speed right here, and I can feel the throttle starting to come back.
Yep.
Frequency change approved today.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
Today, Tango Victor, and you can maneuver now left or right, just remain southeast of Mount Pleasant, and if you need to block altitude, you can have 8,000 to 10,000.
Okay, maintain southeast of Mount
Even at
Pleasant,
idle
8 to
birds,
10,000.
910. Tango Victor, you're going to be looking for approach, or just going to be doing the maneuvering and then eventually returning to Pontiac?
We're just going to be doing some maneuvering and then probably returning to Pontiac, 8 Tango Victor.
Well, it takes a minute to lead off speed.
Sure does. Yeah. I mean, it's down at 2%. It's basically back to nothing.
And to hold 140 at 10,000 is probably going to bring it back up to about 25%
Okay.
thrust, is what you'll see. All right, so we've gotten it slowed down to 140. We're about 24% thrust in there.
Yep.
So you want to try like a steep turn? Or
Sure,
something?
yeah.
So what you're going to do is opposed to turning off ESP and messing with all that there,
Just
it's going to
hold
feel, just press and hold it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then in here, yep, it's going to pop itself up. And this will jump altitude quick.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to use, you got your little
my little bob.
vector right there. And what you're going to do is you're going to increase to about 28% thrust. So bring your nose up a little bit, losing your altitude there.
Yeah.
Increase to about 28% thrust. And then you're going to put you're going to put this right here on 2.5 and roll into your...
But wait, what did you say I put on 2.5? Oh, my little arrow there.
Yep,
Okay.
put that about 2 and then roll into your 45-degree bank and press your auto throttle disconnect.
Turn to left heading
Auto throttle
Right
disconnect.
here, this one right
Okay,
here.
so we don't think
Autopilot
ESP.
disconnect, yep.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead whenever you're ready.
81 Charlie.
So press that button. And then just fly it right along that green there.
Not quite into it.
There you go. Since you're holding it down, I won't do anything.
Anyone tries to do a full stop?
We'd like the option again, please.
Anyone Charlie, Roger. Anyone Charlie, do you know what approach you'll be requesting just for your missed approach heading?
How about an ILS 23, over?
Anyone Charlie, Roger.
That's so much
There you go.
easier than
Nice.
an SR. I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't fully in. I kind of fell out of it
Sure.
a few times, but
And an aircraft
super smooth.
You don't have to really, you don't have to be, you
No,
know, it's like not enough right rudder. And
You
pull
don't
it.
lose altitude really. Like it's like,
Yep.
I mean, that's really, I mean, that's pretty easy. Super cool. I mean, I busted my altitude by 100 feet, but whatever. We're not on a check ride.
Well, that's unfortunately, we're going to be done for the day.
Would you like to continue?
Would you like to continue, or
Oh man, I hate that feeling.
disapproval? That's what I was like.
Disapproval.
Unfortunately, that's a disapproval.
Yeah. Yeah, that's no good.
All right, so just so you can kind of see it, like when we're going to be going back in, let's arm our autopilot again.
Okay.
We'll just do heading and alt.
Charlie 94 Tango radar contact 4 miles northwest of
And
Owasso.
40 feet up, you can kind of move your wheel down so that gets to
enable
10,000.
Okay.
And then let's hit auto throttle there.
Okay. And so that's gonna
Yeah.
bug it wherever we were at.
Yeah, so
If you hit
whatever
that.
it was at when you turn it on right there.
Okay.
So now that we're below 190,
Yep.
right? So let's go ahead and put in 50% flaps right now.
Okay.
All right, and then now let's go back to FMS mode here. So what you're going to see is that because you put in 50% flaps, right? So we would have to be below 190. What you would have seen and what you'll see when we're going back into the airport, you'll see the FMS at 180. As soon as you put in 50% flaps, it's going to drop its airspeed to 140. Right? Your next set of flaps is 150.
Okay.
Right? So it's dropping at 10%. Or
Below
10 knots below what it is, right?
Yeah.
So we're getting into slow flight a little bit. So we can go and drop our gear here.
Okay.
Exposure Diamond Star 77 Mike.
And we're going to see some yellow boxes in the transition.
Yep.
777
So you're waiting for those to go 3 green.
So
all
we got
down.
3
Okay.
green, right?
Making you feel those big old drag monkeys out there.
Yep. And then now let's do full flaps.
We're below 150. Yep.
So now it's going to drop it to 95 knots. You see how it's moving those barber pole down there?
Yeah.
So feel how much.
Yeah, pitch down I had to do to
Right.
keep that altitude.
So at 100% flaps in our SRs, it's 33 degrees.
Yeah.
Here it's 40.
Wow.
So it's putting in a lot of drag. And if you're hand flying it, it kind of shocks you the first time because you really got to use the trim to adjust for that if you're not ready for it. But when you're flying straight and level, it's just a good, you'll be able to see it here where it really pulls it down.
Yeah, it was huge.
And if we're, we always want to get our self fully configured before we hit our final approach fix. But if you start to descend, right? If you start to descend on your glide path and then you drop the flap, then it just feels like you're,
it's not going to be fun close to the ground.
Right? Okay, so what you can do is, and this is the little button right here, right?
Yeah, take the speed up.
So let's go ahead and just take we're just going to do first indication here. So we'll just go ahead and disengage the autopilot, actually.
Okay.
Okay, and just slowly start bringing your power back to idle.
Okay. Star 7 Mike, Zulu radar contact 4 south of Saginaw, maintain VFR and course to Flint, altitude your discretion.
Okay, recovers just like any other plane. Break the stall, add full power, start bringing the nose back, you know, bring your first notch of flaps out, just like you do in any other plane.
Okay.
Difference is, when you put in full power in here, center line thrust is going to push her down, nose down. So just be ready. Yep.
Stall.
So there's your stall.
Stall.
Full break the stall, good, full power.
Not MCT or full power?
Full power. There you go.
Altitude.
Start bringing it back up. First notch of flaps out.
Okay. Yeah, it did drive you down. Look at that, I lost.
Yep, and then we're looking for 115.
Okay, so we want to pitch down just a little bit.
Yep, we got our positive rate of climb.
Gear up.
Yep, gear up. You can start bringing the nose down. We're going to stay around 10,000. So good,
Okay.
keep your nose down.
Okay.
Flaps coming up. And then just slowly bring this throttle back to MCT. There you go.
Altitude.
Which is just the first D10.
God, I can't believe how much pressure
Yeah.
you have on that stick. I mean, I'm pushing, like, I feel like I'm pushing 20 pounds of pressure on there.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's still speeding up to 245.
Yeah, that's what the crazy part, yeah.
All right, so you can bring your throttle back to maybe like 30%. That'll help her.
What does MCT stand for?
Maximum continuous thrust.
Okay.
All right, let's do a.
Sorry.
It's okay. Let's do a left-hand turn 300.
Yeah, that would just take, just like anything else, just take some getting used to just be quicker on the trim, just be like, hey, we gotta.
27 is fine. They just have pattern traffic.
And did you see it looked like a little like eyelash or?
Yeah, those little veins or whatever that was.
So that when that comes down, that's indicating where your stall is.
Gotcha.
So when you have this right here, as soon as it touches that is when you get your stall indication. So when you're recovering, if you start pulling up too fast, that thing will still sink down towards you, right? So that's what's helping you visually see, hey, I'm pulling too hard. I don't want to go into a secondary stall.
Yeah.
So when you're recovering, you're just making sure you're staying below that, and as you speed up, it goes up, and you clean up the aircraft.
Where do you want me to go to?
300. Going back in the clouds.
Lose our sunshine.
I know.
Tango Victor, descend and maintain 4,000.
It's the only sunshine we get in Michigan is above.
So there you go. We got within our
10 miles.
Yeah, we got within our 12 miles. We're below 4,000 AGL, which is the indication in there. So now we're going to start slowing us down to 180.
Gotcha. That's cool. I don't want to say it takes the thought out of it, but it kind of takes the thought out of it a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, when you're briefing or you're coming into the environment, it's like that's now part of your brief, right?
Yeah.
It's our auto throttle will be slowing us down. Our autopilot will be doing this at this altitude, this distance from the airport. Just as, you know, as our normal, we do our briefing on the approach plate, but that way the plane is always doing what you expect it to do.
Vision Jet 248 Tango Victor, traffic 2 o'clock, 2 miles eastbound above you, 3,600 at Diamond.
We're looking for him. Not sure if he's in the clouds. Tango Victor.
Who shouldn't be.
We have the traffic, Diamond 830 up here.
Thomas Ray 30 Bravo Sierra, traffic 10 o'clock, 2 miles southeastbound underneath you with
Oh, there we
Cirrus
go.
Vision Jet at 3,000.
Let's see the visual,
yeah.
730 up here.
And Vision Jet 8 Tango Victor, we got the traffic inside as well.
Roger.
Shouldn't be. I love
Thomas
it.
Ray 30 Bravo
It's like,
Sierra,
should
doing the
be.
final approach course inbound, maintain
Oh.
at or above 3,500 and expecting
There we
approach
go.
clearance once
10 nautical
spacing
miles out.
builds between
When I
you
was
and
looking at that, I'm
Vision
like,
Jet.
he's got to be like right there.
Yeah. Funny how you get to know like your range and like where you need to look.
Yeah.
We'll maintain visual separation from that Vision Jet 3 above here.
All right, turning right 185 makes sense.
See, and now you got a little bit of both worlds. Now you got this and your North Hub.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're coming in here, and we're going to say this is our base leg, right?
Sure.
So once we get wings level, we're at 180, so we're below 190, and we'll put in our 50% flaps.
Okay.
Vision Jet 8 Tango Vector, that traffic is talking to Pontiac Tower, and they're going to be inbound for the north parallel, remaining north of your final approach course.
Okay.
Okay, roger that, 8 Tango Victor.
You can see it.
Exit 483, descend and maintain
off our path
4,000.
a little bit.
Descend 4,000, flexion 43.
So we're within Gooseby.
Yep.
Drop down to 2600 here.
Okay. So it doesn't, with the approach mode, it doesn't.
Well,
do,
we
we didn't have
arm
VNAV on.
VNAV,
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Oh wait, we need to go vertical speed.
Vision Jet 24 Tango Vector, that VFR traffic secure 1230, 2 miles, approaching the Delta. Contact Pontiac Tower 120.5.
Okay, over to tower. Thanks for your help, 8 Tango Victor.
Thomas Ray 30.
Runway 27 left, 30 Foxtrot.
Vertical track.
And left base 27 left, 30 Foxtrot.
Tower Vision Jet 248 Tango Victor on the RNAV 27 left.
Archer 37 Foxtrot, turn right Delta 1, runway 27 right, taxi via Delta.
Delta 1 Delta 27 right, 37 Foxtrot.
Vision Jet 248 Tango Victor, Pontiac Tower, wind 280 at 6, altimeter 3022. Traffic ahead and to your right, Diamond Star on a 5-mile final for the parallel runway. Your number 1, runway 27 left, clear to land.
3022, number 1, clear to land, 27 left, 8 Tango Victor.
All right, Tower, we got full stop permission, 3 Charlie Alpha.
All right, so we'll just get started a little bit earlier. You see where we got glide path coming in.
Sure.
There.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and drop our gear here.
Contact ground point 9 on the south side. Have a good day.
Same thing. We're transitioning there.
478 Charlie.
There's 3 green right there, and then we're below 150. So let's drop to
50 or 100%.
100% right there. Okay, you're going to see your FMS airspeed drop to 95 knots now, so it's going to maintain our 95 knots coming in.
With full stop.
Helicopter 2 Mike Echo
Yeah,
for
that's
9
wild.
feet. The compass rose for pattern work.
And if you couple that with you're already past the final approach fix and the glide, so it really feels
very
like
disconcerting.
right,
Yeah.
Clear to land.
So do you do auto throttles all the way to the ground?
So if we were training or something like that, you know, we're going to minimums, we'd do that to break it off. The same thing as because in here, if you hit the takeoff go around button, the auto throttle will bring itself forward. But what we're going to do is because we're going to be visual, so visual below at 1,000 feet or below, we're going to hand fly it.
Okay.
So once we get to about 1,000 feet, or if you're comfortable doing it now, we can disengage the autopilot. And here let's do it on this. That way you don't lose your flight director. Okay. So remember, you disengage the autopilot, that means your auto throttle's gone too. Okay. So you're going to be finding yourself somewhere between 20 and 30% thrust. So where you're going to be finding yourself. And then just like in any other aircraft, we're pitching for airspeed, power for altitude.
And what airspeed are we looking for, you said?
About 95 knots. Or what we say in the jet is VREF plus 10.
Remain south of runway 27 left at all times.
Yeah, definitely a delay in that throttle because I was low and slow.
Yep.
Low and slow again, so.
Yeah, it's got your anticipation like you have in the other plane, the SR. Just try to amp it up just a little bit more.
500.
Contact ground point 9. Have a good day.
Okay, 500, and we are fully configured. We got gear down, flaps 100, clear to land.
Left to Juliet, contact ground point 9, 3 Charlie Alpha.
How's the ground effect on this compared to like a SR?
Similar.
Okay.
You know, if you hold hold more airspeed than you should, you'll float. Your visual's going to be maybe a little higher than what you're used to.
Hover taxi Bravo 2 Maven, just use caution for the Diamond Star, just came off the runway at Juliet, they'll be inbound to the ramp as well.
When do you cut throttle on it?
So you can start, bring back a little throttle right now, so bring your nose up, start slowing down to about VREF plus 5. And we're going to want to be VREF over the numbers.
Minimums.
We're 30 Foxtrot. Keep it angled directly for the numbers. Runway 27 left. Your number 2, runway 27 left. Clear to land, following a Vision Jet short final.
Number 2, 27 left, 30 Foxtrot.
Good, looking good on the airspeed. Start walking your power
number
out.
2 following a Cherokee ahead and to your left, 1.5 miles angling. Final spacing looks good.
Number 2 clear to land.
Bring the nose up. And just wait on it. Nose up, nose up, nose up. There you go.
It's really like
no flaps. Keep those down.
Contact ground. You have a good day too. 4 Delta Sierra.
Let it roll out.
Yep, just let it roll out. So you touched down a little sooner than you thought you were going.
Yeah, way sooner, yeah.
Downwind runway 27 left.
Report 2 miles.
Yeah, we can make Charlie 7.
Downwind 27 left, 8 Echo Whiskey.
Archer 37 Foxtrot, runway 27 right, cleared for takeoff, fly right traffic.
Fly right traffic, 27 right, cleared for takeoff, 37 Foxtrot.
Vision Jet 8 Tango Victor, turn left there Charlie 7, contact ground point 9, have a good day.
Left on Charlie 7 and over to ground, good day, Tango Victor. My mouth wanted to go faster than my brain was. Had to slow down, I was like, think about it. Ground Vision Jet 8 Tango Victor, off of Charlie 7, taxiing to Apogee.
Vision Jet 248 Tango Victor, Piney ground, taxi via Charlie.
Taxi via Charlie 8 Tango Victor.
Yeah, the ground snuck up on me. I mean, that little trailing gear is a little forgiving.
Yeah. Well, no, that was a great landing. It was, everybody wants the greaser, but that was pretty
fine.
soft.
I'll take that all day. I wasn't expecting when they hit. I was in that flare for a second and got that pro beat off. Good. Fun, man.
Aircraft, Quebec current wind 270.
Nice, enjoyable.
Yes, yeah.
3022.